All right, Shalom, call Haloyim Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Rakak Wadash, Shanya Kabad, Gadwala Requabs, Aquanyim Nawa, Washalayakim Nawa. That is double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom Wabarakim Labakanyim Shalayasharala. And that is peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. And as always, may a double portion of the Holy Spirit be put upon all the brothers that are still offering your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing out this word in truth and in sincerity. So real quick, I wanted to make a video concerning this parable, and specifically in verse 13 where it says, occupy till I come, because that's a phrase that majority of, and really damn near all of the Christian church likes to take. It's a phrase they like to take and rephrase to make it mean something along the lines to fit their prosperity doctrine. They read this parable and they come to verse 13, occupy till I come, and they break it down, meaning until God returns, then you must go to college, get a good education, get a nice job, go for that American dream standard, get that life you've always wanted with this single family house and a white fence, and just live the life you want to the best of your ability until God returns. That's how they break down occupy till I come. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into this parable and we're going to get the true understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai concerning that phrase. So Luke 19 verse 11, it says, and as they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of the Most High should immediately appear. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. Now we're going to read down through verse 15 and then come back to 13. But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Now, this is a key phrase right here. That he might, did not mean to do that. Here we go again to highlight it, and damn. Okay. Well, can't highlight it, but you see what I'm trying to highlight. That he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Gain by trading is a very, very important phrase to understanding what's meant by, in verse 13, occupy till I come. Remember, in verse 13, the nobleman gave his 10 servants 10 pounds and said, occupy till I come. So now, if he came back and he's looking for some kind of return on that money, what does it mean by occupy till I come? All we have to do now is turn off airplane mode and go to the cross references. The Bible comparison. And it's so funny because most churches, from what I've seen, they will read out of the King James Version, but when you're sitting down, they have these Bibles ready and there for you. And from what I've seen, when I was back in the church, then it was always the NKJV, or it was the NIV, or the NLT. Those were the Bibles that they had ready available. So let's do this real quick. We're not going to read every single verse. We're going to look at the last phrase, where in the KJV it says, occupy till I come. In the CSB, it says, engage in business until I come back. In the new KJV, it says, do business till I come. The NIV, I like what it says. It says, put this money to work. The NLT says, invest this for me while I am gone. And lastly, the ESV says, engage in business until I come. So engage in business, put this money to work. If we jump back down to verse 15 now, it says that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. So when we see occupy till I come, it wasn't referring to these servants just doing whatever they wanted, being willy-nilly and going to college and getting a degree and going to getting a nice job, just doing their own desires. It represents them being given a task. These servants were given a duty. They had a job to fulfill while their Lord was gone. That nobleman, while their Lord was gone, they were given a task to invest that money. That's what this is talking about. Now, before we read on and continue the parable, now that we do have an understanding of that, let's also just look up that word occupy. And let's look at the etymology of this word occupy. It says to take possession of and retain or keep. Okay? Then it also says to take up space or room or time to employ someone. To employ someone. And then, even if we are looking at the first definition, to take up possession of and to retain or keep. What are we taking possession of? What are we retaining and keeping? And also, what is, I'm going to turn that back off now, what is the true money? Because this money is what we're retaining or keeping. This money is what we've been employed and tasked for, to invest it. So let's jump to the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, and verse 10 and 11. Verse 10 says, receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. Let's jump over now to chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3, starting at verse 13. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it, meaning of wisdom and understanding, is better than the merchandise of silver. And the gain, the investment or the gain, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, she meaning wisdom, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. So when we talk about occupy until I come, and when we talk about this money, because that is a parable, then the true money and the true riches that we are to be occupied in, that we are to be investing in, is this wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the scriptures. And then what are we supposed to do with that wisdom and knowledge and understanding once we get it? Where can you find that wisdom and understanding? Well, we stay in Proverbs and we go to chapter 1, verse 20. It says, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse. That's why we're out there on the highways and byways. The chief place of concourse, meaning the main place where our people are out walking, where business is being conducted, right? We're in the major cities where everybody can find us, where everybody can see us, next to shopping centers, next to places to eat, restaurants, next to big schools. We're everywhere. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the city, she uttereth her words. So that's where you can find that wisdom. That's where you can find that money. And we're out there occupying until the Lord gets back. We're doubling those riches, or AKA the wisdom and knowledge and understanding. So Now that we have an understanding, and it's crazy, how can you even get a prosperity doctrine of, let me jump back real quick before I lose my thought. Luke 19 it was. Right. How can you even get a prosperity doctrine once you actually look up this word occupy? And once you find out what the real money is, once you get into the parable and the meaning of the parable and what's being stated, the Lord came back to see how much money everybody had gained. He's not coming back to look at your degree or to look at your job to see how much money you're making or to see how big your house is. It doesn't even make any sense. I mean, that's some real live witchcraft. All we have to do is read the parable. Verse 16, just to finish out the parable. Then came the first saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, Well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, Be thou also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. Meaning this servant didn't double that money. He didn't invest it. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man, meaning strict. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. So the Lord gave us, by his Holy Spirit, he gave us this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding, the true riches. He gave us this wisdom and understanding, and we are to double it. Meaning invest it, teach it. Teach our people about the kingdom to come, about Yahushua and his sacrifice and what that means for our nation. That's what we are to do in the streets. Verse 22, And he saith unto him, Out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. Wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury? And he said unto them that stood by, Take from him the pound, and give it to him that hath 10 pounds. And they said unto him, Lord, he hath 10 pounds. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. And that's my co-worker calling. But it's all good. We're at the end of the parable anyway. But you can see it's about occupying, right? And when it says occupy, it's about doing the Lord's work, investing this knowledge and understanding and teaching the people. And if we are to be occupied and to take that word for literally just what it says, this is Sirach chapter 39, verse 1. This is going to be the last precept, and then we'll get out of here. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. And that's what wisdom gives you. Wisdom gives you the understanding of prophecies and subtle parables. But this is what we are to be occupied in. Prophecies, watching for the Lord. The scriptures say it, and I always like to mention it and keep it in mind. The scriptures say to watch as well as pray. So that's what we're supposed to be doing, occupied in prophecies. It says he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. And definitely keep reading the rest of this to get a better understanding, but that's the point on that. I just wanted to bring out the understanding of what it means to be, not to be. Verse 13, when it says, occupy till I come. So I do pray that this was edifying for all of the elect, and continue occupying because we're almost out of here. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.